Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Pundit now says £37,000 a week Arsenal man had an absolute nightmare versus Man City. Pundit Eamon Dunphy has now suggested that Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya was fortunate to be on the winning side against Manchester City on Sunday. Speaking on the stand with Eamon Dunphy, the 78-year-old pundit and a journalist was reflecting on the top of the table clash in the Premier League. Manchester City travelled to the Emirates looking to continue their fantastic recent record against the Gunners. Mikel Arteta had never beaten Pep Guardiola in the league as a manager and had to face his old mentor without Bukayo Saka available. Man City were also missing two of their most important players, Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. The Spanish midfielder's absence has been harrowing for the treble winners, losing all three games he's been suspended for. Arteta had to make a few big calls when it came to his team selection on Sunday. However, there didn't seem to be any doubt that David Raya would be in between the sticks for Arsenal against Man City. The £37,000 a week goalkeeper had his least convincing performance in goal for the Gunners on Sunday. He may be comfortable in possession, but Man City may feel they were unlucky not to catch him out on a couple of occasions. Discussing the 28-year-old, John Giles said, "I'm not so sure about the goalkeeper situation. That's a funny one. He seemed to say when he bought the goalkeeper that he would every second match rotate them, but that hasn't happened. I think he is playing all the time." Dunphy added, "Ramsdale is their other goalkeeper. I think he is better. I thought the keeper had a nightmare. He got away with it, but he looked very nervous." Captain Martin Odegaard defended Raya from the Arsenal fans during the Man City game, who could be heard moaning at him. His indecision on the ball did create some nervousness around the stadium, and Gary Neville admitted that Raya was all over the place at the start of the match. All eyes will be on whether he retains his place in the side after the international break against Chelsea. Pundit claims Arsenal must now build team around 22-year-old after Manchester City display. Kevin Campbell has suggested that William Saliba is immense after his performance for Arsenal against Manchester City at the weekend, insisting that the Gunners may have their new world-class centre-back partnership. Campbell was speaking on the Highbury Squad podcast after Mikel Arteta's man became the first side to stop Pep Guardiola's side scoring in the Premier League since the final day of last season. William Saliba, in particular, was exceptional in the battle with Erling Haaland. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Rio Ferdinand noted that he had to stop and rewind one moment where Saliba managed to knock Haaland over with minimal fuss. He said, "The guy is immense. He is immense. If we had him last season at the end of the season, we knows whether we become champions because he and Gabriel are the rock that Arsenal must be built on." Adams and Bold. When you have got Adams and Bold, you have got your rock at the back, the platform to build. Saliba is the reader of the game. He is silky, he is powerful, he is quick. One of the most notable performances from an Arsenal player on Sunday surely came from David Raya. Certainly, he gave Arsenal fans plenty to worry about during the early stages of the contest. Ultimately, however, he was able to keep a clean sheet. In fairness to Raya, he did appear to improve as the game went on. Some of his long-range passing was sublime, but the Spaniard can hardly take much of the credit for Manchester City not scoring. That is not a criticism, because actually it was Saliba and Gabriel who ensured that he was not tested. City barely laid a glove on Arsenal in the final third, particularly after the first few minutes, and it was the centre-back pairing, as well as the likes of Jorginho and Declan Rice, who made sure that the visitors had such a miserable afternoon. Pundit amazed by how well £45 million Arsenal star played late on against Man City. Kevin Campbell has lauded Mikel Arteta for bringing on Thomas Partey against Manchester City, insisting that the Arsenal midfielder started to run the game after coming off the bench. Campbell was speaking on the Highbury Squad podcast after the Gunners claimed a famous win, with Gabriel Martinelli scoring late on to send the Emirates into a frenzy. With 15 minutes remaining, it did appear that the game was in danger of fizzling out into a goalless draw that both would have been somewhat content with. However, Mikel Arteta decided that he wanted more, and the Arsenal boss went on to make three changes, bringing Thomas Partey, Kai Havertz, and Gabriel Martinelli on. Of course, it was Martinelli who saw his strike deflected into the back of the net shortly after, but Kevin Campbell suggested that what Partey did after coming off the bench should not go under the radar. He said, Jorginho playing brought that experience to it that helped Declan Rice, I thought. And do you know what? What a good substitution at the right time to bring on Thomas Partey as well. He just started to run the game when he came on. Partey's return from injury could provide Arsenal with a massive boost. Gunners fans are yet to see the best of the £45 million man so far this season. That is largely down to Arteta wanting to use him as an inverted right back at the start of the campaign. That experiment really did not appear to work. Partey was not comfortable in the role, and it also meant that Gabriel Magalhaes was left on the bench for a number of games. Pushing Partey back into midfield seems to make so much more sense. It will free Declan Rice up to play as the left-sided 8, a position which has been a problem for the Gunners this season, and if anything happens to either Partey or Rice, Arteta has Jorginho to call upon. Certainly, few teams are going to have much joy against Arsenal if the spine they are coming up against consists of William Saliba, Gabriel, Partey and Rice. 22-year-old Arsenal player was left upset when Manchester United didn't sign him. Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli was left gutted when Manchester United decided not to sign the winger following multiple trials in the past. That's according to Martinelli's former coach, Luis Antonio Moraes, who has been interviewed by The Athletic. Moraes detailed how disappointed the Arsenal winger was when he didn't get good news. Moreover, his former Etoile coach also revealed that Martinelli suffered the same fate at Barcelona, where he spent a fortnight on trial. However, Moraes was quick to praise Martinelli's mentality to simply not give up. He said, "He was sad when the United move didn't work out, but it didn't last long, but he just kept working, maybe even more than before." Gabriel Martinelli is a great example for all young players. Things never went to his head. Of course, Arsenal fans will now be extremely grateful that United didn't choose to sign Martinelli. The Brazilian was vital to their side finally overcoming Manchester City in the league on Sunday, a momentous day for the club. And alongside the likes of Bukayo Saka, Martinelli is now a jewel of the Emirates. Perhaps some Arsenal fans hadn't realized just how much they now rely on Martinelli prior to his injury. The 22-year-old was missed sorely in his brief period out, and his energy and enthusiasm was missed just as much as his creativity. Martinelli has also nailed the tactical brief of supporting Zinchenko fleets into midfield behind him on the left, and it was no surprise to see the likes of Bruno Guimaraes and Declan Rice praising Martinelli for his impact on Sunday. Of course, the challenge for the Brazilian and his teammates will now be to win trophies over the next few seasons. Arsenal have already overcome the likes of United and City in this campaign, and Martinelli will now surely feel he found the right place to showcase his football in the end. David Seaman admits he will be worried about £30 million Arsenal star if he is not playing versus Chelsea. David Seaman has lauded Aaron Ramsdale for the way he made sure to upload all of the Arsenal fans after the dramatic victory over Manchester City at the weekend, despite any potential frustrations over his lack of game time in recent weeks. Seaman was speaking on the Seaman Says podcast after a dramatic day at the Emirates, which saw the Gunners snatch the 3 points. Aaron Ramsdale can probably be in little doubt that he is now the second choice goalkeeper at Arsenal. The England international appeared to do little wrong before Mikel Arteta made a change, but David Raya has now played both of their Champions League games as well as the North London derby and the clash with Manchester City. Raya had a tough afternoon at the office against Pep Guardiola's side, particularly in the early minutes, but he has not been particularly convincing since coming into the team, so it would be a surprise if Ramsdale came back in after the international break. David Seaman was asked whether he would be surprised or concerned if Ramsdale did not start for Arsenal after the international break, and he went on to praise the 25-year-old for the way he has dealt with being dropped. He said, "A little bit, yeah, both. I would be concerned because then Aaron isn't playing and England have a friendly against Australia and then a qualifier against Italy. Big games. I would imagine he might play versus Australia and then Pickford against Italy, but it's now getting a long time since Aaron has played. What I love about the guy is at the end of the game is that he walks around and applauds the fans and he gets a really good reception. You can tell that the fans still love him and know what's happening, but it's for the good of the team at the moment, and that's all you can say." Mikel Arteta now believes 24-year-old Gunner will be Arsenal's captain after Odegaard. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta reportedly believes Declan Rice will be the Gunners' captain one day. The North Londoners have had a good start to the new season, and Rice has arguably been their best player. He has been exceptional so far, and Arteta is beyond delighted with him. Arsenal signed Declan Rice for a club record fee in the summer transfer window. The England midfielder was a wanted man. Manchester City and Bayern München were both really keen to sign him, but the Gunners won the race in the end. Rice has taken no time to settle in. He has hit the ground running as a Gunner, and his performance against Manchester City on Sunday was truly brilliant. The Daily Mail have now claimed that Rice is already a leader in the dressing room at Arsenal, even though he has only been at the club for a few months. The 24-year-old has impressed everyone, so much so that Mikel Arteta apparently believes he will be Arsenal's captain one day. Declan Rice definitely has all the qualities required to be the captain of Arsenal, but so does Martin Odegaard, doesn't he? The Norwegian has been magnificent for the Gunners since he joined them on a permanent deal. He is a real leader as well, and there is no way he is leaving the club anytime soon. Odegaard is the same age as Rice too, 24, so it's unlikely that he will call it a day before the Englishman, which makes us wonder if Rice will ever be the heir to Odegaard's throne. However, captain's armband or not, Rice is a hugely important member of Arsenal's squad, both on and off the pitch, and that will not change. World-class £80 million player now wants to join Arsenal in January. It's not just Arsenal who are keen to sign Ivan Toney. The Brentford striker is reportedly coveting a move to the Emirates too in January. The Gunners have had a great start to the new season. They are level on points with Tottenham, but Spurs are the league leaders because they have scored more goals than Arsenal. A new striker in January could make a difference for Mikel Arteta's side, and Toney has been heavily linked. Arsenal have been linked with a move to sign Ivan Toney for a few months now, and the Daily Mail have shared the latest on the situation. The world-class Englishman is currently banned for breaching the FA's betting rules. He will not be allowed back in the Premier League until the middle of January, but once he does, he could be on the move. Numerous reports over the last couple of months have claimed that Toney is on Arsenal's wish list and a move in January cannot be ruled out. Now, the Mail claim that Arteta and Arsenal's recruitment team are very seriously considering a move to sign a new striker in the January transfer window. Tony is a player Arsenal are said to be coveting big time, and the Brentford striker is coveting Arsenal too ahead of the January transfer window. Tony will reportedly cost a fee in the region of £80 million. Arsenal have shown over the last few years that they aren't afraid to spend big money on players Arteta and Edu think will improve them. Tony definitely checks that box, but after spending in excess of £200 million in the summer on Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Jurriën Timber, and David Raya, there are doubts if the Gunners will go big again in January. The report claims that even if Arsenal have money in the bank to spend £80 million on Tony in January, that sort of expenditure will impact their spending next summer. It will be interesting to see if Arteta and Edu are willing to take that risk in the winter window. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.